I love this book. Even though these words were written almost 3,000 years ago, today they are just as relevant and just as true as ever before. As a matter of fact, these are the kinds of words that we need to be listening to. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20. Wisdom shouts in the street. She lifts her voice in the square. At the head of the noisy streets, she cries out. At the entrances of the gate in the city, she utters her sayings. How long, O naive ones, will you love being simple-minded? And scoffers delight themselves in scoffing, and fools hate knowledge. You know, there's not been a time in our history that we don't need a little wisdom. It's a special kind of wisdom that we need today. It's the kind of wisdom that Solomon talks about, that begins with a reverence or respect for the Lord. It's a wisdom that has an intellectual clarity to it. It is able to take the facts and the truth and to cultivate some kind of understanding that leads us deeper into our decision making. It's kind of a wise common sense, being able to see how all of the facts begin to line up, leading us toward the truth and ultimately decision. But it's not just simply intellectual clarity, but there's also an element of moral goodness that's required to be able to exercise wisdom. You know, when our understanding of the situation is tempered by our moral goodness, our desire to do what's right and our desire to perfect good, it motivates inside of us a deeper longing for spiritual development. It creates in us a deeper awareness of our need for God and the ways in which God can continue to minister to us. But he said the one who chooses not to apply wisdom in their life is like one who is simply naive or simple-minded or so open-minded that there's no possibility for wise choices. That kind of simplicity sometimes leads us into a sense of scoffing at the truth, or scoffing at those who are exercising the truth. The day in which we live is a day that is full of scandals and conspiracies and boastings, all of which are nothing more but simple declarations of our self-sufficiency. It is the way in which we are attempting to kind of try to gain control over our circumstance, as opposed to applying wise choices that help us to plow through our circumstances and to be able to maintain our sense of direction and to be able to maintain our sense of destiny, being a better likeness of Christ, being more available for God to use us. You know, I'm sitting in an empty conference room, and it's a place where a lot of decisions are made. It's a place where people really seek the wise counsel that comes out of fellowship. All over this world, there are people in conference rooms and people trying to make choices and decisions. Might we pray for our leaders, that God would grant to them real wisdom, that God would give them insight, being able to take the facts and being able to put them together and apply some common sense, but tempered with that moral goodness, that desire to do what's right, and that desire to care for others, and to not be simply concerned about our own affairs, but to be concerned about the affairs of others. And the fact of the matter is, when we apply that kind of wisdom, it is going to encourage in us a desire for spiritual development, ultimately renewal and revival. You know, it's in times like these when wisdom is applied that the byproduct might just be a deeper awareness of God His presence in and around us, and His designs on our life that help us to live more fulfilled and meaningful lives that will make an impact on the world. Oh, today wisdom is crying from the streets. Today wisdom is being heard. Might we not just simply be foolish men who reject the truth, but might we be wise and receive all that God is offering us